Imagine, if you will, someone that has difficulty understanding how others talk and what they mean. They also have difficulty talking to others, and sometimes they can get confused, and people get mad at them for it, and people call them names. Sometimes they say something, and then out of nowhere, seemingly, it seems like that person they talked to hates them for it. Even though they were nice to them yesterday, they just, for some reason, they're mad. And that person doesn't know why the other person's mad at them. They get yelled at all the time by parents and their teachers and peers. They later hear that they offended somebody or rubbed them the wrong way, and they don't even know what they could have done. They don't understand. Because they don't understand language very well, they say something and people get mad at them for it because they misunderstood what the person was trying to say. And imagine what that person would be like. Imagine what that person who's not able to talk correctly, who often gives people a bad impression through no fault of their own, and they're just constantly at odds with people for reasons they can't even control. Eventually, they start realizing that because of these issues with their communication problems, they can't interact with people like normal people would, that they're suddenly excluded from social circles and from certain places and are asked to leave certain group settings, and they don't even know what they did to be asked to leave. Imagine constantly being told to leave and you had no idea why, and nobody's going to explain it to you, and they're just mad at you and you don't know why. Imagine constantly having somebody get mad at you and never explaining why that happens. That's what it's like to live with autism. Autism is a communication disorder, and a lot of times people with autism say things without people understanding what they're trying to say. Sometimes they say something and it's misinterpreted as something rude or offensive. I'll give you an example from my own life. I was at a tabletop game with my girlfriend at the time. She wanted me to meet some of her friends that she tabletops with. So I'm there and getting to know her friends, and one of her friends had brought over some cheesecake that had some fruit in it. And I took a bite of the cheesecake and I thought it was good, and I had never tasted something like that before, so I simply said, "This is a new taste." And she asked me, "You don't like it?" And I said, "Oh no, I like it. It's a new taste." And then I realized that I had said something that was misinterpreted because of my autism, because autistic people often say things very literally, and someone saying it's a new taste can sometimes be a euphemism for "I don't like it." But that's not what I meant. And I clarified that I did in fact like the cake, and I said it was a new taste because I'd never tasted something like that before. Literally, it's a new taste. And then I explained, that is part of having autism, and then she understood it. But since then, I've had to really try to think about my past, and when have there been other times where somebody is very offended by what I said, but doesn't even know that that's not what I meant, and doesn't know, that I even have a communication issue. Or maybe they know, they just don't understand what autism actually is. That life is very frustrating, and that's what we get discriminated against. Our atypical way of speaking can sometimes offend people because they don't understand what we're trying to say. It's like there's a language barrier. You're trying, and in the example I used, you're trying to say to somebody, "Oh, I like this cheesecake. It's not something I've tasted before, and I really like it." That's not, someone saying that it's something they've never had before is not a compliment or a insult, rather than just a statement of fact. And autistic people can be very factual in their speaking, very literal, and that can come across in a very wrong way. So I've had to now think about what other times I've done that. And it's very unfortunate that I keep having problems of exclusion based on mistakes I didn't even know I made, and that no one's going to tell me how I made them. I'm just going to be told to leave, and I'll have no idea why. And I know that it'll be something that I said, but people have already written me off, and so it gets kind of lonely. So yeah, that's what it's like to have autism.